Hey,
Woo!
how are you?
That's good. What's happening?
Not much, not much.
I was in here doing some work and I was like, I looked up on the computer and said, oh, it's 12 o'clock.
I just sent Sean a message. I'm like, do I have the time wrong?
How's everything?
Not bad. How about you? How was your weekend?
Oh, everything was good. What did I do? I'm still celebrating my birthday, like I was telling you guys.
Whole month.
Yeah, a whole month. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got in terms of that? Basically, I did put some meat on the grill on Sunday. Just some wings, a few hot dogs, and wings and chicken breast. I love
Nice.
chicken. I don't eat the red meat. I don't eat the pork. But that chicken, I will fight somebody over chicken. Yes, I
Nice.
will. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I was like, just getting busy and everything. I ate my lunch right around 11:30. Well, I started eating by 11:30. I got to make sure I got ready to go at 12 o'clock. Oh, man,
Absolutely.
what you guys up to?
This, right? So we're talking about stress and nutrition today.
Yeah, I always tell people, well, as we know, the month of April is not out yet. And this is stress month. April is recognized as stress month. And we've been doing meditation classes. We've been doing yoga.
Wonderful.
Anything that can help relieve stress. That's what we've been trying to do all this month. And then you're part of it. You come into the game plan in terms of nutrition and stress. Now, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people, I know it's probably just me and you on this Zoom call right now. So I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself,
Sure.
just in case some folks happen to chime in with us.
Absolutely. I'm Jessica Barrett. I'm a registered dietitian here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been working with John C. Smith for a couple of years now and just started working with you guys over at HealthPlex. And I have two lovely daughters at varied ages. One is 26 and the other is 3. My husband works for John C. Smith as your head strength coach and also wide receiver coach over there. And that's pretty much how I got in contact with Johnson C. Smith and trying to help bring on some more nutritious approaches there at the school and try to really bring balanced diet back to college students, because especially with college students, there's a lot of stress, right? There's a lot of learning and studying and socializing, and there's just home life and school life. And I think y'all are still remote right now, but it's not always easy to grab something healthy, and it might be kind of on the back burner when you're trying to do so much and juggle so much. So sometimes it helps just hearing from somebody that has some strategies and tips to really help with those types of things. And since this month is focused on stress, I think it's wonderful. We're still in a pandemic, and I know stress levels for a lot of people are up. And so it's really helpful if we can get our food kind of in check, because sometimes we not need to put ourselves, we're all different when it comes to food and stress. Some of us just, all health out the window and let me just go for the potato chips or the cookies, and that helps momentarily, but long term it could cause some issues down the road.
Right. Well, I didn't even introduce myself. For those that don't know me, my name is Joseph Major, the HealthPlex coordinator here on the campus of Johnson C. Smith University, and so excited to have Jessica Barrett here with us, the registered dietitian. And we've been doing a whole lot of talking, guys, and she has a whole lot of knowledge, and it's been great having her here at Johnson C. Smith University. Now, Jessica, I'm just going to get to it because I've been thinking about one of the biggest stress, one thing that's going on right now, this pandemic.
Yeah.
And I thought about all this. I know you sent me some notes and everything, but I was like, this pandemic is just huge, because if people can't get outside and exercise and just see the outdoors, then it's not good. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, well, right, we're in when it comes to mental health. And like you said, you know, it's been harder for people over the course of a year to out. You know, it's not everybody can work out in their homes, or, you know, now, you know, gyms have opened up, but some people are still very reluctant to go to the gym. So it might be, it's most likely a lot harder to do the things that you may have been doing prior to this. In addition to that, you know, part of going out is that whether it's with friends and family, but also strangers. Some of us, I love talking. I love talking to people, whether I know them or not. Like, you can kind of stick me anywhere in the world, make friends. So I know for myself, over the course of this past year, it has been difficult because I don't have that type of um, interaction. And, you know, like I was just telling my husband yesterday, it's like, you know, my socialization, like, I socialize with you and I love you,
Right.
but I miss that, and I miss going out, and I miss being able to just enjoy it, like it, smell the smells out. Not that I can't be outside of my house, but, you know, outside of the home, separate somewhere else, maybe downtown or the Noda area, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's not different. So it really, it can impact us all very differently.
I tell you what, when this whole pandemic situation kicked in, I was trying to figure out a way I could really, really help people. I had folks calling me. It was like, man, you guys are not open on the campus or anything like that. And I told them, I said, no, we're not. We're not really open to the community here at all. Um, and then I just thought about something. I started doing boot camps at the park, and um, I found myself going on Amazon and like purchasing like different equipment, battle ropes, kettlebells, dumbbells, Bosu balls, some of the items I already had. Um, and then I got face masks, sanitizer, like spray, lotion, what have you. Anything that could keep people safe, I had it. I brought it all to the park, bottled water, on ice in coolers and everything. And I think I was averaging at first about 10 to 12 people. And then it went up to about 15 to 18 people. I was doing classes on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And it was great. We had all the necessary items to clean the equipment. We was very cautious of the coronavirus and everything. And so now I got people calling me like, hey, when are we gonna get started?
Yeah.
But just another avenue to get people out of the house
Yeah,
and exercising, moving their bodies and everything and trying to keep them in shape. And
absolutely.
look at it, that's just another way of relieving the stress. Yeah.
Absolutely. I really look at that total health, like in a circle. You have exercise is so important. There are some people that just focus on food and not realizing that exercise is a huge component, because it really can help our hormone levels, our cortisol levels to go lower, or,
Hmm.
serotonin to be boosted. And quite the opposite. There are people that, they focus on exercise and they don't really focus on any nutrition aspects because they look in good health. But when we can sit back and really just examine, how do I feel overall? Am I going through my days still sluggish even though I've done my workout? Or am I going through my days still sluggish even though I've ate my food, the healthy food? And then there's the sleep, right? So sleep is so important. And with added stress, it may affect your sleeping patterns and, waking up in the middle of the night and that type of stuff. And it really is like this total improve our own health and our energy levels and our stress levels, most importantly.
Well, you talk about sleep. I remember when this pandemic first kicked in, and I'm just on this pandemic, um, and I wasn't going to sleep until like 2 o'clock in the morning. Because I didn't know what to expect. I was really nervous about it and everything. Um, wow, I remember doing a game at Coker College, and next thing I know, 4 days later, I'm feeling bad and everything. I still had the taste, I still had the smell and everything. And then when I went and got tested, I tested positive. And I'm like,
Mm,
this is crazy. One thing that bothered me is that I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't leave my room. It was my bedroom to the bathroom. That was it.
yeah.
And I was there about 7, 8, 9 days in. I went outside. I was all wrapped up. I had gloves on my hands, had face mask on and everything. And I just got tired. And I
Yeah.
walked right back in the house and got right back in the bed. All I did was watch TV all day. And just,
Yeah.
put myself with different vitamins, B, C, D, zinc, and all that, So just thankful that I was able to get out of it. But it can make you be a nervous wreck, which can bring on stress. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I felt it was important to include nutrition aspect to helping our stress levels, because it really can improve, not a cure all, but it could be part of a routine that can certainly improve situations in stressful times, and especially with our college students that already have so much on their plate. Um, I know that it can be easy to put that on the back burner, not
Right.
realizing that it does play a huge role. I think one of the first thing in my notes was talking about making sure that you're eating regularly and throughout the day, not skipping breakfast or just overpiling food on one meal and going light on another, and
Right.
just making sure that there's good carbohydrates on your plate, like whole grains on your plate, so that you're getting adequate amount of sugar in your body, glucose, which is what our bodies need to produce that energy for that workout, or just get us through the day better, and not feel by 4 o'clock that we're just down rep. Like, if you want to lose weight, you got to reduce or eliminate your carbs, and
Mhm.
it's not true. It's really important. Our brains really rely on it. It's a fuel source for our brains, and if we're not getting enough, we can feel very sluggish. I know there are some diets out there that are that have been more trendy, like keto diet, and one of the first symptoms within a few days of going on keto is a sluggishness or headaches, and this
Mhm.
is all glucose related. And so making sure that you have a steady maintaining a steady approach to eating regularly throughout the day, and making sure that there's some good foods on your plate. Don't always have to eat good. There's always room for wiggle room for cakes and stuff like that. But overall, it's just making sure that it's steady, and that we're really fueling our bodies properly, so that we can do these other things better. One example, I know when I lift weights, and I also do cardio, but I like to lift weights. And I find that if I don't eat the right foods prior to doing, I'm not as strong. I'm not as, like, I feel I can take on the world in that moment. Um, and I depriving myself of carbohydrates, and knowing that this can be a really important aspect to reduce stress and improve energy levels.
Okay. I, you talk about the carbohydrates and everything. Me, I don't know too much about this dietitian, you know, deal, what have you. But how much carbohydrates should a person eat every day? Is it on the gram side of it? How many
Yeah,
grams?
so we can take a couple approaches. That's actually a very good question, Joe. And it's not always clear, but the USDA has defined it. Like, they give a range, and there's a reason for the range. So depending on your caloric intake, let's say, I'm going to make up your calorie amount. Let's say you eat 2,000 calories a day, and that's probably too little for your body, but 2,000 calories a day, you should make sure that between 45 to 65% of your calories coming from carbohydrates. And I don't just mean any carbohydrates, 80% of them should be complex carbs, like your whole grains, beans, legumes, those types of things. And the reason for the range, the 45 to 65%, is because some people function better on a high carbohydrate diet, more towards the 65%. And some people function better on the 45%. So that's why there's a range, because all our different, that have too much carbohydrates, they may feel a little more racy, rather than someone like myself who likes a high carbohydrate diet. 45% would be too little for me. It makes me feel faint, weak. And so I make sure for myself that I make sure I go on the higher side. Now let's take that number. We're going to do a little math, Joe. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we use that caloric number of 2,000 calories.
Right.
And let's say we go dead smack in the middle, 55% of your carbohydrates, you want to shoot for 55%. So you take 2,000 calories times 0.55, which is percent, right?
Right.
0.55. That comes out to 1,100 calories should be coming from carbohydrates. And if you wanted to convert that into grams, all you have to do is divide that by 4, because for every 4 calories is, I think, or I might be opposite on that, there's a 1 gram of carbs. So I said 2,000 calories, 55% is calories, divided by 4. So that means that person throughout the day should get about 275 grams of carbohydrates.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, here I'm thinking, go ahead. Are you there?
Froze. I'm sorry. You were saying something.
Oh, I when I started, you were saying something too. So, finish what you were about to say.
No, that's okay. I think I was just finishing up on that.
Because that's something I kind of cut back eating a whole lot of bread. At one point in time, I used to do that. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm like that I'm trying to stay away from that diabetic side, borderline. Mm-hmm. So when I do eat a little bit of bread, it's always the 100% whole wheat bread. Yeah. Maybe I just might need to have a sit down with you and just listen to what I need to do, because I really want to drop more weight.
Gotcha.
When I first started officiating, I think my weight was right around 200. Mm-hmm. Now I'm right about 220. Gotcha. And the crazy thing is, during the pandemic, my weight didn't go up; it actually went down, and that's because I was staying active. I was getting up, walking every day. I started on walking maybe 6 to 8 miles, and then I got up to between 10 to 12, and that was every day. Like the weekends, a special good Saturday, I may put in 12 to 15. Mm-hmm. But that was back during that pandemic time when it was really, really strong, and it had everybody, in an uproar in a sense. So that's that carbohydrate. I think it's more or less, how much do I need? How much? It's not enough. It's not enough, or I'm not eating enough. I'm eating too much. So, when I went to the doctor, they ran a blood test on me, and she told me I need to cut back on the carbs, and if I'm going to eat any type of bread or what have you, let it be the 100% whole wheat, I do eat a lot of beans and everything. I try to eat at least 5 to 6 servings of vegetables. Mm-hmm. And I eat fruits, but not a whole lot. I try to stay away from the grapes because got too much sugar and everything in them. But I tell you what, I'm definitely gonna get with you so we can talk about that
Absolutely.
and see how you can help me.
And
But
touch on that carbohydrate, because I hear that a lot, Joe. I hear
mm,
a lot about, like, I stay away from bread, I stay away from pasta, those types of things, to like white breads and white. It may be harder for them to just go full on 100% whole wheat
oh,
or
we
whole.
right.
But the products are out there, and over the years they've changed. I remember when I first tried whole wheat pasta, it just tasted grainy and the wrong texture. Um,
Yes.
but they have improved upon it over the years. Barilla is a brand that actually has a really good 100% whole grain pasta, like all different types, penne, elbow, and quite often, like it is so different than it used to be. It's not grainy anymore. It doesn't just fall apart like it
Hmm.
used to. It actually has that same texture and mouthfeel that a regular pasta does. So somebody that would want to transition over to 100% whole grain, what they can do is kind of go half and half. So like half your pasta is white and half your pasta is whole grain. And to kind of get into that habit, and it really tricks your brain because you're still getting that I'm eating white pasta, but now you're getting some benefits that weren't there before, because the whole grain comes with a lot of fiber, and that's going to slow down your digestive system. And what's going to happen is that your body has a chance to absorb the nutrients that it needs and flush out some of the ones it doesn't. So when I hear doctors saying stay away from the carbs, I kind of cringe, because there's a lot of research help weight loss, it can help diabetes, it could help heart disease, and it all depends on the type of carbohydrates and how much fat is in your diet. So there's a relationship between that. And so, how does this correlate with stress? I mean, because that's a thing, like when we're stressed out, sometimes some people reach for the breads or the pastas or the cakes. And
Right.
so starting to create newer habits of incorporating more whole grains and more 100% whole wheat, whole grain can actually help you, because you're increasing your fiber, which is allowing you to utilize your food that you're eating better for your body, and really going to help with that stress. Because I don't know about you, when I'm hungry, I can get hangry. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And as soon as I
Same
take
way.
a bite or two, I'm starting to apologize to anybody around me for the attitude I may have had prior to eating
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And so, increasing your fiber in your diet through one of the ways is through the whole grains, and you can use pasta and breads,
Mm,
is a really good way to do that.
okay. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that, you know, we're talking about nutrition and stress, and I'm hoping that there's an opportunity for us to get through to the students here at Johnson C. Smith University. So what are some tips to manage stress? I know this is important for the kids.
In relations to,
You
like,
know,
overall.
and that, yeah, overall nutrition, everything. I mean, I know these kids are probably they get stressed through, classwork and everything. Know they got a paper that needs to be done. Know they got a thesis that has to be completed before graduation and all that.
Yeah.
So, what are some tips to kind of, when we talk about manage stress? Hopefully, it'll help them and keep them from getting into that point of being stressed out, where they find themselves just going crazy, and like
Yeah.
you say, if I get stressed, I normally eat, or I'll
Yes.
go work out or something like that. But I remember
Yeah.
being in the past, I would eat.
Yeah. Yeah, and so there's nothing wrong with eating, right? It's just what
Mhm.
we're eating becomes all the time of a source that's not fueling your body. It's going to lead down to other problems. It's going to
Right.
create hormonal imbalance I think the first tip I would give is let's make food important. Let's make it more important than it is. So kind of assess the importance of food to you. Like, do I think about what I'm eating? If I do think about it, how often I think about it? You don't want to think about it all the time because that's just stressful in and of itself. But kind of gauge where you're at with your relationship with food, and understand that I can take some steps in my nutrition to help these midterms, these exams, these reports, because you and I both know that if you can take a test on an empty stomach, and not perform as well because your brain isn't functioning as well.
Right,
And
right,
so the types of food you put in your body can also have a reflection on the results of that exam. So making sure, like, maybe not all the time, maybe sometimes you allow yourself to eat that apple pie in a pack, the Hostess apple pie or whatever, but maybe I'll make some more, start including some better choices throughout my weekday. And
right.
so those little choices turn into bigger choices over time, because you're going to see a difference, that for sure, as you start to develop a different habit, if you do it in a small dose, so that, I know students and most people don't concentrate on getting enough omega-3.
Mm,
So I think where, like, one of the sources that you get omega-3 from is fatty fish, right?
right.
Salmon. And so not
Yes.
everybody's eating salmon, not
Yeah.
everybody's eating fish. So knowing some other sources of where can I get this from? Some people don't even like the taste of it. Like for me, I don't like the taste of salmon. So I get my sources through things like walnuts or
Mm,
flax seeds, chia seeds. They even have it in oil form where, like, if you're not a nut person or a seed person, you can get hemp oil or flaxseed oil. Actually, flaxseed oil is very high in omega. I think it's
mhm,
9.4 grams per tablespoon of omega-3 is in 1 tablespoon of flaxseed oil. And that could be something you add to your salad, and you're done for the day.
right.
So we know there's a lot of evidence to support that omega-3 is important for brain health and function. We're also starting to see studies come in that shows a relationship with low levels of omega-3 in your body and high level of stress and sometimes mental disorder.
Mm, mm, wow.
Into, like, what the true relationship is, and to better help, how can omega-3 help these things. But we do know right off the bat that omega-3 is important for brain function. And we know that our brain also creates stress. And so if we're making sure that we're getting omega-3 throughout the day, like one time a day, or with fish, it's only once a week. You only have to eat that once a week. And just make it like, check, I got that. I got my omega-3s out. I'm starting to include a little bit more whole grains than I would have in the past. And then, so we know not everybody's getting enough fruits and vegetables. I think here in the United States, only 1 out of 9 people, or maybe it's, sorry, 1 out of 10 people eat the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables in a day. And so that says we have room to improve, get a little more into our diets. And those things are going to provide other vitamins and nutrients and more fiber to our diet to really help maintain stable sugar levels in our blood, including people with diabetes. And that's why there's a misconception about fruit, carbohydrates, and association with diabetes.
Right.
There is a you have to manage it, but it's not quite how they used to think of it, as like the more you reduce your carbohydrates, the better off you're going to be. We know we need sugar in that body.
Yeah, that's one of the scary things to me, that that pre-diabetic. I don't even want to hear the word.
Uh-oh. Joe, are you there?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I was saying that in terms of anything, they're talking about pre-diabetic and everything. the word diabetic, I don't even want to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I try to work out every day. I try to eat healthy as possible, and try to watch what I eat. And, you know, it might be some stuff that I'm not getting enough of. I can see right now in terms of the carbohydrates, I know I'm not,
Right.
you know, and I would say I'm halfway there. I mean, and you said it, you said 1 out of 10 people probably eat enough of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm one of them knots, you know, because I know I don't eat enough. I know I don't eat enough fruits. I know that. I eat fruit, but not enough.
Right.
Vegetable wise, I can be up and down with that as well. We talking about 5 to 6 servings. I may do 3 to 4. And we talked about eating the pasta and stuff. Now I do pina pasta, and sometimes, you know, you don't have the whole grain, so I get the organic pasta, you know. And I add onions, I'll add spinach and everything to it.
Mhm.
Only thing, that cream sauce, I tried to, you know, I tried to not use a whole lot of it and dilute it with a little bit more water. I always say
Gotcha.
that it's all about the seasoning, you know. So
It certainly it is
yeah,
about seasoning. A lot of people get turned off a bit when they hear terms like vegan food.
right,
And that's one of those things that I've learned over the years. I've been researching that probably, I would say, since 2006. So it's been a long time. And over time, what I've learned, because we all grow up with our traditions and our culture, and food is very, like, we surround ourselves by food.
that's right.
And so over the years, I've learned it is about what we're doing to that, because nobody slaps a piece of chicken on the stove and doesn't season it, right?
That's
They
right.
they season it up to the way they like it. And I bet you've had somebody's chicken that was not good at all.
Oh yeah,
And it's not because it was the chicken, it was because the way it was cooked. And so
right.
that's the certain foods like fruits and vegetables, and not that we're cooking fruits right now, but like that's the same thing. So it's like you're talking about a penne pasta with these things in it. So we could take that same dish and maybe incorporate half whole wheat pasta in it, or full, depending
Hmm.
depending on if you like it. Try that Barilla version that I was telling you about. But in addition, we can take that cream sauce and change it from, like, whether you're using a heavy cream or a half and half, or something like that. And not like, so one of the things we like to do is we take raw cashews, and you can buy here at Trader Joe's for super cheap raw
Hmm.
cashews. And you can put it in a blender with some, I use almond milk, and you blend it up. It becomes very creamy. And now you've created this cream. Now you're seasoning your dish. And let me tell you, I've turned beef stroganoff, I've used it instead of, and nobody cared. And what was good about it is now we added fiber, we added some healthy fats, and it's lower in saturated fat. And so now you're bumping up that health aspect and lowering that guilt that sometimes goes along with some of those heavy creams. And it doesn't mean all the time. You want to indulge in something that's a heavy cream base, go for it. It also serves its purpose. It's a reward. And so, like, if it's in moderation, it's one of those things. The look on your face, are you still worried about the
No,
cashew cream?
no, I'm amazed with that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use that.
Well,
Now I got to
you
get
know,
into the milk kind of stuff, you know. But be
well,
honest,
and
I don't even drink enough milk.
what?
I don't even drink enough milk.
I
You
don't
know, I
drink
get that
enough.
vitamin D from the tablets.
Yeah. And so a lot of us need to get vitamin D from tablets because the fortification, a lot of people have an intolerance to milk. So it can really upset their stomach. So then we lose an aspect of a place to get vitamin D. And so vitamin D is one of those things that I'm not in your food, but vitamin D is one of those harder things. And a lot of Americans and people around the world are lower in vitamin D. And we know that vitamin D is that sunshine, good feeling. Like, once you
Mhm.
get it, it could really boost your mood entirely. So that's a thing. Like when you're stressed, if you're stressing out, especially pandemic related, am I getting enough vitamin D? And what are my sources of vitamin D? Are those sources good for me? If you are milk intolerant, or do you have another way to get that? And so taking a supplement, a vitamin D supplement, is not something um, I say would be a bad thing. I would just say that make sure you know where it's coming from, because not all supplements are created equally.
Mhm.
And supplements are not regulated by the FDA. Therefore, people can put incorrect amounts, or companies can put the incorrect amounts in, and you're getting one thing and you're not. It could have contaminants in it that could hurt your body. There's been several supplements that have been that the FDA has had to ban because they have found levels of metal in them. So your source matters. And so, what is a good source? Um, Anytime a company like a supplement company takes a party company to come in and test their products
Mhm.
for level, like contaminants, the level of what is in that, and making sure to say, hey, we didn't have to do this, but we had a third party come in and test this. Now there are companies out there that are, I think the best one to remember, because it's one, like, how am I going to remember this one, later on after this conversation? I always think of, instead of UPS, the delivery service, it's USP. So USP is a third party company that comes in and tests supplements. And that's just one of them. There are other ones. And that's one of those things that it should be on the label. It'll be right on the label if it's certified, tested, or verified.
Mhm.
So that's one thing when it comes to supplements. You just want to make sure that you're taking a supplement from a company that's reputable, has tested their product, and that you're getting what you're supposed to be getting out of it.
Okay. Wow.
So much, I know.
You're right about that. But I'm still the raw almonds and stuff like that. That's amazing.
Joe,
And see, look, huh?
I'm gonna have to make it for you. I'm gonna make you something one day.
I love to
I'm
cook.
gonna send it with Sean, and I know you're gonna like it. I definitely know you're gonna like it. I'm also a chef on top of being a diet,
You know what?
and
That is
so
right. That is right.
food,
Thought
like,
about that.
anytime I talk about food, I just light up inside, because it's one of those things that I've always taken seriously.
Hmm.
I had my grandmothers on both sides of the family were excellent cooks. And they come from different backgrounds on each side to bring something new, new to me. My one grandmother, she came from Poland. So there's this Polish aspect to her cooking that I wound up developing, and just learning different. I love to eat. I've never been like a food snob. Like, I won't try somebody's food, like Ethiopian food. I love trying new food, new cultures, getting my hands dirty. That's what I like about Ethiopian food. You get to eat with your hands.
Right, right, right.
Traditional here, we eat with a knife and a fork. So I really love those things. And when it comes to trying to improve something in health, I'm not one of those cardboard rice crackers. I'm going to eat something that tastes good, that feels
Right.
good in my mouth, and that's going to satisfy me. Feel like, okay, I don't feel like I have to eat a bag of chips later on.
Wow. This has been good. This nutrition and stress. Oh wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it's we don't realize how important it does play a role. And that's why I think it's important, especially with the college age students. A lot of times the last thing on their mind, because there's just so much else to deal with, and just planting a little seed in the brain of, maybe I'll take a little step, and
Right.
then watch that step and see how you feel. It's going to make you want to take a step. Uh, and not everybody has to be a good cook. And the great thing is that we always hear healthy food is expensive, and it can be.
Right.
However, so could unhealthy food. You go out and you buy a big filet mignon with some, other stuff going on. You can pay a pretty penny for that. It doesn't mean it's good for you. But the thing about healthy food and some whole foods is that they're also expensive at a grocery store, or even sometimes at a local like gas station. So if you don't have access to a grocery store, you can get some healthy foods in a gas station for a lower price. And let's go with the grocery store. If you look at the cost of a can of beans, it's
Mhm.
going to range anywhere from, if you're going to, it's 55 cents for that can of beans. If you're going to Harris Teeter, it could be up, $1.50. So
Exactly.
it's still low in price, and lower in some of that processed food that's on the market. You just might have to do something with it. Same with brown. There's so many different types of brown rice on the market right now. And one of the things I hear is that I don't like the texture of it. Have you tried all brown rice? Did you just try the Chinese place down the block and it's very grainy? Or there's basmati brown rice, there's jasmine brown rice, and these are
Right.
fluffier, right? It's fluffier. And it's like sometimes I don't have time to cook, or I don't have a stove. Like if college students are in their dorm, I don't have a stove. More accessible now, and it can be affordable. But you'll also see some healthy foods that are jacked up in price, but that's usually not when you're doing it, when you're buying it and preparing it yourself.
Right. And they say that healthier foods are cooked at home,
Yeah,
versus in the restaurants and everything and fast food joints. So
absolutely. You don't know you don't know what is always put into it or how much is put into it. I
right.
find that some places when I eat out, it's a lot oilier than I would have made it.
Hmm.
It's still good. It's just that I can also make it something good, less oil. And so you're right. So cooking, learning that tool to be able to do for yourself at home, is important overall, so that you know what you're really getting in your body and putting in your body.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, Jessica, I have enjoyed the chat with you and everything. I hope that the anyone, if no one has logged on to the Zoom call, but I'm sure that they'll be going in from time to time, going through the classes that we've been uploading on Zoom and the Healthplex Facebook page. Um, if you would, you may have somebody out there who may have some questions.
Yeah,
So would you like to give them your contact information?
absolutely. I have two different email addresses, so I'm going to give you the easier one to remember.
Okay.
It's Jess, Jess, at nourishcharlotte.com. Nourishcharlotte.com. They can reach out to me if they have questions, if they're looking to do nutrition counseling. I've actually been offering some very rates during the pandemic to make it easier for people, because I know some people have lost their jobs, or may have had to downsize a bit. So I've been offering some very affordable rates for people. So if that's one way to go. But if you just have a simple question and you just need a little bit information, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help.
Great, great. Glad to have you. Appreciate you helping out. Wow, you've been helping us out like the last 2 months. I
Yeah,
know a lot of people don't know, but the month of May is Mental Health Month. So bring about the awareness of mental health, as well as health and fitness, blood pressure. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about next month, the month of May. Yeah, I'm
excellent.
excited. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Joe, it's good to see you on, and I'm sure I'll see
Always.
you soon.
Yes, ma'am. And we'll get together so you can kind of get me squared away with nutrition and everything. All these
Absolutely.
carbohydrates and vegetables and fruits and greens and everything. But have a great
Absolutely.
day and thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a wonderful day yourself.
You do the same. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. So we didn't have.